Landscape Photography World, the podcast for everyone passionate about landscape photography. I'm Grant Swinburne and I'll be your host on this show, talking to landscape photographers about their motivations, what photography means to them, and to dig a little deeper into the way they think about their photography. Antoinette Koutsomihalis is an internationally award-winning fine art landscape photographer based in Sydney, Australia, whose work is deeply rooted in emotion, intuition, and lived experience. With a background in welfare and lifelong artistic practice, Antoinette approaches photography not just as a visual medium, but a space for reflection, healing, and connection. Her photographic journey began in her aunt's darkroom, where she first discovered the power of images to hold memory and feeling. Since then, photography has become both a creative language and a personal refuge, one shaped by observation, integrity, and emotional depth. In this episode, Antoinette shares how photography became a tool for mental health, self-expression, and personal transformation. She opens up about the influence of her welfare work and her experience with breast cancer, and how both have profoundly informed the way she sees the natural world and creates art. Antoinette speaks honestly about authenticity in photography, the pressure of social media, and her desire to create work that prioritises emotional resonance over external validation. She reflects on travel, stillness, and the importance of approaching landscapes with respect and presence. This conversation explores photography as a quiet, intuitive practice, one that invites viewers not just to look, but to feel, breathe, and walk a little further into the deeper stories of the natural world. I hope you enjoy the show. G'day, Toni. Welcome to Landscape Photography World. How's your day been?
Oh, it's been a great start. Things started mid-grad. It's pretty hot here in Sydney, so...
Yeah. I was out at the beach this morning, actually, with a friend of mine taking some photos down at South Curly.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good start of the day. I mean, it wasn't colour or anything, but I think
it's good to get out for a shoot. Yeah, you got out of the house. It's great.
That's right. Got up early and got out into it. You're obviously a keen photographer yourself, and I've seen your work around for quite some time. Why are you a photographer, and why in particular are you keen on landscapes and the types of landscapes that attract you?
For me, photography is like breathing. I've been an artist since I was born, pretty much. I grew up in my aunt's darkroom. So when I was 10, 11, I was in there every weekend with her. My love of photography sort of stemmed from there. But I've been a creative. I'm a poet. I have award-winning book out. So my whole life has been based around the arts. Yeah. I have a degree in welfare studies. So my background is in youth development, mental health, and I would formulate artistic programs around art. So basically we would talk about different issues, and I would sort of have a photography workshop going, or pottery, or writing.
Interesting.
Music. So I've had this artistic life. So photography for me is an art, is just a part of who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say that, a lot of photographers sort of start off documenting their life, and then suddenly the light comes on and they go, oh, this is art.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes that light doesn't come on, but they're still creating art, but they just don't think of it as that.
Yeah.
I'm interested, you said you're pretty much an artist from birth. And photography was a big part of that. How did that sort of formulate in your mind around the sorts of things that you were shooting early on compared to how you've moved your style now?
Well, early on, obviously, like growing up in my aunt's darkroom, everything was black and white. Black and white film. That to me now is probably the magic that I'm trying to capture from when I was a child back into my work as well. So that fascination of the contrast, the colours, the greys coming through, in the darkroom, I try and capture that now in my photography now. So yes, I feel like I was born into a very musical family. There was artists around me who were very creative. But as we all know, sometimes the arts doesn't, pay the bills. So you sort of go into sort of muggle jobs. And even though I was in muggle jobs for half my life, other parts of my work career, I've worked in the arts. So even though I was a welfare worker and I was working in child protection and working in child development and youth work, I brought my art out into that. So the artistic programs and things. So it's just been a continuation and a growth. So as I'm going and I'm having life experiences, I tried to put into my fine art sort of photography, my feelings, my emotions, my soul, and the soul of a place, rather than just going to shoot somewhere.
Yeah.
That I've gone through in my life, from having breast cancer to the death of my parents. All that grief, that loss, and all those kind of things go into my art. And it's a way of self-expression. But at the same time, it's a part of me. And if that goes, I'm miserable. I'm upset. It's a part of who I am. I've always visited art galleries and supported other artists in all different fields, from, bands to, I've got friends who are art therapists who are amazing at their sort of collages and things that they're into as well. So me and photography is extremely important to my identity, I guess, as well.
Yeah, fantastic. You mentioned using photography in some of your social worker programs, and I'm keen to sort of explore that and how you see that as helping people that are obviously needing help in those times when they're vulnerable and they need support and they need something in their life or something added to their life, I guess, to help them cope with what they're going through. How do you sort of bring that around with photography?
Well, with photography, it's just a tool, basically a tool of self-expression for people to sort of open up in that particular point with young people. It was just a space where, they can put their feelings into work, and maybe if they're shy, they can come out and talk about different issues that they were facing in a setting. Now it's very hard. What I see a lot is a lot of people talking about mental health and talking about things as photographers who aren't qualified in that field. And it will be very difficult. We want people to open up and talk about what they're going through, but at the same time, not tell other people what to do. So I can't sit here and tell you tips and tricks on depression or anxiety because it's blanketed. And that's not very fair to everybody out there, because everyone's journey is so different.
Absolutely.
The reason why people have different issues or mental blocks in their photography, that's so personal about, and sort of saying blanketed advice to people is not healthy. My big suggestion is, if people are stuck or suffering from mental health issues, photography is get offline completely and seek professional help straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice. I guess I know for myself, as I said at the top of the show, going out this morning, I feel a lot better for having done that. Even through the 4:30 wake up and the hour drive out to the beach and the bleary eyes and whatever, and I'll probably have a nap later this afternoon, which will be great. But in terms of my mental health, it's actually, for those that haven't been listening earlier, it's probably one of the first shoots that I've done in about a month and a half or so, simply because other things in my life have been taking over and I haven't been concentrating very much on actually going out and shooting. I've been concentrating on other things within the photography and the podcast and a few other bits. But that feeling of being there, concentrating on something and being focused, pardon the pun, on photography and the act of creating an image, regardless of how fast that moment may be, or it might be a long exposure or whatever, that act in itself clears my mind anyway from other thoughts and thinking about all of the issues that I may be facing elsewhere in my life. And for me, and many of the other photographers that I've spoken to on the podcast, that feeling and that ability of release and concentrating on something, it's not necessarily an escape, but it's a way sometimes also of focusing your thinking around some of those things. Say on the drive there or back, I don't think too much at 4:30 in the, or try not to. But that act of being in nature, getting yourself thinking about what it is that you're doing in itself, I think has beneficial effects. What are your thoughts on that, and what's some of your experience with that, both for yourself but also with people that you worked with?
basically, I find that anything that sort of starts a sense of awe in people, even that childlike, wow, I'm seeing something different, can take you out of your present state and put you into thinking something positive. Like, wow, we're here. Look at this. It's an incredible scene or experience. And it's not necessarily, like you said, it's not necessarily an escape or a distraction. You are experiencing something mindful here and the now in your present. So when I've worked with people in the past, it's a tool. You can hide behind a camera too. So if people aren't ready to talk about things, it's a great thing. If you're out in public and you have anxiety, you've got your camera in your hands. And I've done that myself, where I've gone out and I've had periods of anxiety or post-traumatic stress and things where I've carried my camera around and I feel so much better hiding behind.
Yeah.
But if someone comes over and talks to me, as long as I've got the camera in my hand, I can be open, I can be expressive. Hide behind it if I want to.
Yeah.
But don't want to talk. So there's that opportunity for people to use that as a healing tool that way as well.
Mm.
And it's art. So basically you can put, like you said, you've seen my work, my heart, my soul, my experiences of grief, loss, different darknesses in my photography. I put that into my work.
Yeah.
Rather than throwing it around, I will put it into my work. I think that's another sort of form that you can do with photography, where you can go into that side too for healing.
Yeah, rather than verbalizing those feelings of grief or PTSD, etc., you can actually visualize it, it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of people ask me, because I do the black and white conceptual type work, are you depressed? No, I'm not. Have I been in dark places? Yes, I have. I'm not scared of the dark anymore. I've done my healing work. I embrace that as beauty, because if I haven't seen the darkness, how do you really appreciate that?
Exactly.
Okay. So for me, getting through those things, art helped me. It definitely did, like a lot of photographers and a lot of people out there. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, because you also meet like-minded people as well.
I think it's also, for me anyway, a connection with the landscape and a connection with nature itself. And I guess having an authentic connection to where you are, you're thinking, for me anyway, I'm thinking about where I am, where I'm standing, how I can move the camera to where I need it to be to visualize what it is that I want to bring about. And that act in itself you're very aware of the elements. I'm really aware, if I'm seascaping, for example, where are the waves breaking? Mm-hmm. I will spend, even in the dark, 10 or 15 minutes before I set the tripod up anywhere, working out where I should stand. Now, I have stood in the wrong place a few times and killed a couple of cameras, but I do try to be very safe, but I'm also very aware of those conditions. I'm very aware, where's the wind coming from? What's that doing with the clouds? Thinking about, okay, how long have I got before sunrise? Are those clouds going to catch the light? Are they not? Is there a thick band of cloud across the horizon? Okay, well, now what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to get the light in the sky that I'd like, So those conditions and that thinking in itself, for me, is a practice which helps me connect with the place that I'm actually in. Is that true for you? Do you have similar experiences?
Yeah, I do. I'm more of an intuitive photographer, I would say. So I'm based on heart, soul. So when I'm out shooting, I'm not a gearhead. So I'm not thinking in f-stops and things like that when I'm going out to shoot. Here's my tripod. I've got a camera in my hands. I'm intuitive. I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm taking in my surroundings, the cultural. I'll do some history as well on where I'm going. So the cultural beliefs, am I going to climb that dune? No, I'm not, because, the locals don't feel it's appropriate. Other people aren't. That's fine. I shoot I try and be aware of the cultural and the history, and I sort of separate where I am and strip it back. That's with the black and white. Strip it back to, what am I feeling in this place? What does all of those things give a feeling? And I try and do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things I've noticed about your work and your website, I took a visit there before coming on air, and what comes across strongly is your work in photo competitions, and you're putting your work out there to be judged. And there's a couple of things I want to talk about there. One is that feeling of being judged and what that does for you, but also why competitions and what is it about competitions that interests you?
The competitions for me is basically seeing where I'm at, to be honest. It's been a journey for me. So from emerging to amateur to now sort of, getting awards in sort of professional type competitions, it's putting your work out there can be very scary. Especially if you're introverted, especially with your heart and soul.
They're all your little babies, aren't they? No matter how bad they you might look to somebody else.
Exactly. And I've heard some really bad advice from people saying you've got to disassociate from your feelings when you enter competitions because you are going to be judged. No, I don't see it that way. I see it as, yep, I'm going to be judged, but art is subjective. So the judges that are out there may not particularly like my style. And it's been pretty brutal. I've been rejected a lot.
Yeah.
And it's overcoming that fear of I'm not good enough because I didn't make it through a competition and competing isn't the be all end all anyway. As long as I'm doing what I love to do, that's enough for me. Yeah. The awards and things like going is, yes, it helps with getting your work out there, getting, maybe opportunities in time and things like that. But it is very scary putting it out there. Mm. And the only way to sort of pull that back is, yes, the judges aren't looking for my work and that's okay. It's not being, not good enough or I don't want to enter them anymore. And it's finding the right competitions for your style of photography as well.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things I think monochrome or black and white photographers tend to face in general category of photography, particularly landscape, but to a certain degree, it impacts on portrait and street and a few others. If you're working in monochrome and the category is general and it's colour and monochrome, the colour images tend to do better. It's not always the case. Occasionally you'll see an absolute stunning black and white win a general competition. They tend to do better, obviously, where it's a monochrome category.
That's right. Exactly.
Is that your experience as well? I know that's my experience.
Yes, it is. And it is. It's depending, again, what that competition is actually looking for. So people are looking to enter research what they're about. Is it for a magazine? Is it for any other reason? Just have a research of why the competition is there. And then look at who the judges are as well, because, again, it's subjective. So it can be a bias towards the judges who don't like a particular style or are more suited it because that's their style of photography. They're going to judge that sort of category. It's one of those things where it is a vulnerability and it is very scary as an artist to put yourself and go into competitions, but it's not the be all end all either. As long as you're doing what you love to do, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I'm interested in how people deal with getting their work judged when it is being judged. I probably won't say this correctly, but if you're not getting selected and you're just culled in the first lot and you're not getting into the sort of commended or highly commended or finalist or top 10 or top 20 or whatever, and you're not making it there. Dealing with that, I think, particularly if you're repeatedly getting that kind of thing. And to be honest, when you look at a competition, that's the thick end of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So most work is going to be up in that category. How have you dealt with that feeling as you've sort of worked your way up the pyramid and got into the finalists and so forth?
I think, rejection is hard. It is really, really difficult. And I get it. Sort of starting to have belief in my own artistic style and sort of going, okay, it's not for everybody. Like music, for example, we're all going to like the same genre of music, are we? So it's one of those things where, okay, my genre of photography may not fit. It doesn't mean it's bad. Keep going, keep trying. And it takes years. For me, it's not an overnight thing where I've sort of got into those positions in awards. It has been a lot of hard work to keep going and to keep developing my style. And just, I think for tips for people out there is not to give up and to believe in themselves. Just keep trying and find the competitions that their work suits. It's probably a big.
One of the other things I found on your website is your blog.
Oh,
I'm always interested in how people connect the words that they write about and experience to their work, their actual art, and how that writing experience both helps you remember the experience itself, but also how that conveys the feelings that you were feeling at the time and the experience that you had when taking the images. And I think your blog certainly does that for me anyway.
thank you.
And I'm just keen on your thoughts around why did you start? What was it that got you started in blogging, and what role do you see that it has in your photography?
It's definitely a secondary thing with my photography. Basically, I wanted to put out there a bit of the thoughts and feelings that go behind my work without actually spelling it completely out for people, because art is a bit of a mystery. So I started Deep Heart Earth, which is my blog and my trademark for my photography and things as well. When I was in Antarctica, actually, I got COVID. So I went all the way there, got COVID and got melted. Yes. So I didn't give up those.
Not a great place to be if you had to be hospitalised.
It's the best view, the best COVID lockdown view in the world, but
Yeah.
it was very tough. And I did give up, and I was out there on the balcony and I was shooting. And I'm like, I really want to protect places. I really want to eventually build this thing up to a point where I can give back, like protecting locations, raising money for communities and things. I've been to like Namibia. It's all the time. It's a growth thing for me. But Deep Heart Earth was a part of me. Again, I sort of had friends talk about my work and pick 3 words that you think match me, and they came up with Deep Heart Earth. So I decided each trip that I would do a bit of like a travel blog and say, yes, I went here and yes, I went there. But as you can see, like my ones from Antarctica, I go a bit further into, okay, Antarctica's Heartbeat was an award-winning series. How did I do that with COVID, lockdown, how I was feeling at the same time? You get a bit of a sense of where I'm at with diamonds and dust and things like that, where my concepts are coming through. And I'll put that into the travels and the trips and where I'm at. So you get a bit of a background of my series as well without spelling out exactly what it is, because art is you're supposed to lead.
It's supposed to stand on its own, yeah.
It's supposed to stand on its own. So the blog is secondary to my photography, definitely, but offsets it. And I don't know if I told you if it's on my website, but I'm an award-winning author as well. So I have a book out on grief and loss. So
I was going to ask about that next, but let's go.
But yeah, so I have a book out on grief and loss, and I won a self-publishing award with that 7 years ago now. So I am a writer. I am a poet, not a ChatGPT poet, and an actual poet.
No.
All my work, it's just a different offset. Like I said, I'm very artistic, and if I'm not doing photography, instead of sort of shutting down and going, oh my gosh, I can't get out there to shoot, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to write a poem, or I can get into my painting again. I'm a dance teacher, a choreographer. So that whole holistic part of art, I absolutely love.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've gone with the communication that you've done in terms of how that's contributed to the success of your photography, but also your writing? And obviously winning an award, absolutely fantastic. It means you have got some level of success, or at least judged by somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in what people think themselves about their own success and how successful they've been, particularly in communicating what it is that they're trying to communicate. Because photography is very much a visual communication medium. And as we alluded to, it should stand on its own, and trying to say something with your photography, if that's what you're trying to do, because you can just take a pretty picture and say, here's a pretty picture.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the feeling you want to do more with your work, and it certainly sounds and looks a little bit like you're trying to do that. How successful do you think you've been in doing that?
In communicating my stories, I hope I'm successful in it. But for me, success isn't about other people's acceptance anymore. It's very much whether I accept myself. And that's been tough as an artist. It really is, to accept who I am. And this is where I'm at. People may not understand my work, and that's okay. And it's getting to that point too. I mean, social media has a big part of it can hurt people's self-esteem. If you don't have 100,000 followers, you're not seen as a successful photographer. I disagree.
Because I don't have that many.
A successful photographer is someone who is doing what they love to do.
Yeah.
They're picking up the camera and they're going for it. No matter where you are on the spectrum, money to me isn't success. Success to me is happiness. Are you happy with what you're doing?
Yeah.
Are you meeting amazing people? Yes, I am. So I see myself as successful that way. Not so much the award, but that I'm doing what I love to do. I get to go where I love to do with my muggle jobs. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
And that's success. Success to me is that I've got 1 million followers and I'm getting sponsored to go everywhere. Because at the end of the day, I want to create what I want to create. If I'm sponsored, I'm creating for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then I've got...
Yeah, you've got an obligation to do what they want you to do.
You've got pressure too. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be nice. Yes, it would be nice if it matches in with what I believe for deep hearted, with what I did believe in. And it's just looking at your version of success as a photographer. What do you see as being successful? I see it as you doing what you love to do, no matter what, whether you're working full time in photography or whether you're an amateur, using your phone to take photos. I think that if you're happy with what you're doing, that's success.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's telling us, so differently. It's successful to be you in this field. Just be you. Not have to fill a niche, not have to be somebody you're not. This is me. This is who I am. I'm proud of that. It may not be, I'm sponsored, or it may not be that I'll ever will be, or may not be, I'm going to make millions of dollars out of my work, but I am true to who I am, and that is a success to me.
Yeah. I think if you are comfortable in your own skin around your work and comfortable doing what you do, and whether that's copying other people's compositions and doing your version of it, or whether it's doing something that is completely and utterly new and unique that nobody else in the world has ever thought of, I think if you're happy doing what it is that you're doing, regardless where you fit on that spectrum, you should be happy with what you're doing. And if it doesn't make you happy, stop doing it, and that includes social media. I was talking to somebody a few episodes ago on the podcast who has completely given up all social media, just stopped doing it because it wasn't suiting. He's a professional photographer, wasn't suiting his business needs. It didn't actually give him any return on the time that he was spending on it, and the satisfaction of using it wasn't there. So he's just said, well, kill it, cut it off.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of amazing artists out there that have never had social media or don't have it at all. And what, they're not successful because they don't have social media? Of course they are. I think social media has put a lot of pressure on a lot of people, especially now, not so much back in the day. There was some, I call them the first wavers, where they have amazingly talented people that have, hundreds of thousands, million followers because they're very talented.
Yeah.
And then now we're trying to, you can't get that level of success as a photographer now. Look, there's reels, there's, more people doing photography than ever before. And we're being bombarded with a lot of different images. They're very image based, but whether people are using that as, their version of photography, it's different. It gets hard to explain, actually.
No, I get what you're saying though. I'm keen to explore what your influences are. Where do you gather inspiration? Is it other photographers? Is it the traditional painting and sculptural art world? What are the things that you sort of gather together in your own mind? Or, some people do thought boards or whatever you want to call them, and they put together a bit of a sketch out of, okay, these are the things I like. I'm going to try and replicate some of that. What is it in your life that you bring together to influence what you do?
What I do? It's a mixture of the different things. It is art, different art styles. It's different. I love classical photographers. So the Mediterranean, I'm half Greek, so I've got Nellies and we've got Basilico and amazing photographers. The neoclassics I absolutely love. But then I love surrealism, the Renaissance, romantic. I love all of that from like Shakespeare all different parts of that, but mostly it's my life experience. It's putting what I've been through into my photography. And I always sort of say I am my own muse. I try and get inspiration from myself. And it's not to say my work may not be completely unique or anything like that. It's my thoughts and feelings that go into that sort of the image or the series I'm creating is what's unique. It'd be very sort of, I don't know what to say, but there's so many people doing photography across the world that it'd be very remarkable to have a standalone, completely new and inventive kind of image.
Yeah. So what influences you most?
Yeah, definitely my thoughts and feelings, my own personal experiences and what I've been through. Other artists, definitely. I find inspiration when I'm in it, not from other people's work, but like we are now and bouncing off each other. So inspiration where you get, somebody else gets it. We might not see exactly eye to eye on different things, but it's like you can pep each other up and say, oh yeah, this is great about photography, or this is great about art. And I think being around other people who are creative is very important. Not necessarily for me I'm going to steal Grant's ideas and I'm going to go do this now, but
that's fine. My ideas are rubbish anyway. So.
No, it's not. They're great stuff. I've seen it. We've followed each other for ages. So, but yeah, it's sort of, for me, I try and be my own muse and bring my own thoughts and feelings because my work is based around that. That's something that people can't steal off me.
Yeah.
They can't take that away. They can't take away my life experiences, my cancer journey and things like that, but I put into my work. So that's one thing I try and stay true with my work is my feelings on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, personal experiences and emotions obviously drive a lot of your work. How do you feel that they influence the actual landscapes that you choose to?
That's interesting.
I know where I get my piece. Where do you find yours?
My piece, I love going to interesting locations that kind of from Antarctica to Namibia, Tibet. Tibet was actually more of a spiritual trip rather than a photography. I just happened to take obviously photos when I was at Everest. Sure. So I love going for the sort of the different and Antarctica, Namibia, Tibet, Everest, where I'm going next, which is a bit of a secret. I like to strip the emotions back from the landscape. Well, not really from the landscape. I strip everything around the landscape back. So the emotions are what's there, mine and what I perceive that to be. It can be very difficult, especially if you're at a location where there's a lot of people and their energies are bouncing off you and you've got, tourists with their selfie sticks and, you've got the influencers in bikinis at Deadflade, climbing camel thorn trees. They're like 3,500 years old and they're getting them to calm down. So you're distracted. But as honing in and sort of going, I'm going to strip all this back. And what is it saying to me? What is this landscape trying to talk to me about? And the thing with my work as well, I don't ever get disappointed where I go in terms of I don't have a set image in mind when I go shoot. I'm going there, I'm going to see what the universe wants to give me and I'll go from there. So I'm never ever, I've been with photographers, they get really upset because they haven't got the shot that they want because of the weather. And I'm like, really? Like, we're in the most beautiful place, but you're upset? Like, gosh, no. So change your ideas and be flexible because you're dealing with Mother Nature. You're on a beautiful landscape. You can do so much and be so different. I just try and strip all the sort of the noise around a place out and bring it back to, okay, what do I want to convey? What is it conveying to me? And I put that into my work.
Yeah. What you were just saying brings to mind an experience I had on Madeira and went to the famous Fennel forests up on the high plateau there. And every other photographer I've ever seen, they get this beautiful fog come through and you don't see any other people except the people they might have deliberately placed in an image. And I got up there and it was early morning and there was no fog. It was clear blue sky. There was no cloud. And there were busloads of people everywhere, including influencers climbing 400 or 500, 600-year-old trees. And it was kind of, I was a little disappointed, just to say the least, but I worked with what I had. And I then just went, okay, well, I'm going to just look for individual trees that have a interesting shape, or and there's a few very famous Instagrammable trees that everybody tries and get. So I tried to get some of those, but also looking at different angles of some of the trees. The trees are lovely sort of subject for doing that with, because you can walk all the way around it sometimes,
Exactly.
But that feeling of disappointment dissipated fairly quickly once I started actually saying, okay, well, this is what it is, and here's where I am. It wasn't just one day, because I went there a second day about 3 days later, and exactly the same sort of conditions. So it was
wasn't meant to be.
Just wasn't meant to be. Maybe I'll get there one day and go back and we'll get some fog. But anyway.
Yeah. I think, disappointment. You can be disappointed, but you were there. So the experience of actually being there, that can't be taken off you.
I got the forest photos weren't the most amazing, but I got a lot of other photos from other places on the blog, because there's so many stunning locations that it's a hard place to take a bad photo.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with me is a lot of them will sort of go want that shot because they've seen it on Instagram or they've seen it in social media. I can Google that and see that shot. I don't need to take that shot.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would rather have a blue sky and do what you did than have the same shot as somebody else.
I'm okay copying. But I will say one of my favourite shots from that visit to Madeira was actually down the hill from the hotel we were staying in. There was a stone beach, like rocks about yay big. And for those listening, not watching, I'm holding my hands about 6 inches apart. And the typical black volcanic rock that gets rolled around and gets very smooth and everything. But there was this particular, it looked a bit, I wasn't sure if it was actually a concrete block or was just a piece of shaped stone. And it was probably about 20 feet long, and it was oblong on the top and shaped straight down the sides. But on the top of it, these rocks had obviously settled or been washed there. And over the years, they'd rolled around and created these weird grooves in the top of and there were still some rocks on there, but just watching the waves come in, the sound of the rocks and everything. And to be honest, a few of my shots out of that little time were some of my favourite shots of Madeira, not the grand vistas of the San Lorenzo Peninsula and all those sorts of things, or the high mountains and whatever. It was actually this rock at the bottom of the beach where I was staying.
Well, that's what photography is, isn't it? Is what you feel and what you want to get out of it. Yeah. And that's why I kind of steer away from the big social media and exact shots and things like that, because they don't mean anything to me. It's just another shot. Whereas what you've just taken, that's something that I would be more drawn to as somebody, wanting to see art, because that's your thoughts, your feelings. I can see something in that. Whereas if I'm an observer and I'm looking at all these different photos of the same place with the same book, feelings in that is going to be a bit harder for people to just copy. Whereas your shots would be like, oh, what's great thinking here? And that's what art is to me. And this is a personal thing. I just, if somebody is shooting, and Sarah, who I went to Namibia with, can vouch for me on this. So if we were out and we're shooting something together, she's more wildlife and landscape, and I'm landscape and conceptual. So it worked really well. We would stop for each other. So if she was shooting up, we got to a place and she was shooting one way, I was walking completely somewhere else. So we had that complete separate. I just like to shoot differently.
Yeah. I love the fact that you can have 3 or 4 people standing within a few meters of one another, and they're just shooting completely and utterly different things. One person's focusing on that rock or flower or bush or whatever. Somebody's got this grand vista. Somebody else has got this telephoto view of a detail that's across a valley or something, and yet they're all within 10, 15 meters of one.
Yeah,
they come away with something completely different. And to me, that's part of the magic of photography is, you can copy somebody else's, composition, but it's, as you said, it's what you're feeling in the time and how you're reacting to that landscape that really makes the difference and differentiates different people's styles and different people's views of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's like, because I've been in the art sort of world for quite a while, artist integrity is really, really huge to me as well. So for me, I don't want to copy anyone else's work because to me, it's just not an integrity. It's not integrity. How can I say that better? For me, I would rather say inspired by Grant or inspired by somebody or inspired and give the person credit who found that original composition. But I've taken and I didn't realize it was a previous person's composition, well, then obviously I would go back and say, hey, inspired by. I think we've lost a lot of that with social media too, where, we've got AI, we're taking our images, copyright is there for a reason, but people will take things now sort of without even asking. And I think that for photographers is quite hard too. Screenshot things off websites rather than paying a photographer to do it. So we're up against a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Pardon me. Is there a specific landscape or location that keeps drawing you back? Where's your favourite place to shoot?
My favourite place to shoot in Australia is Bombo.
Okay.
From our astrophotography and just the landscape that I like things that have like a feeling when I'm there, and through the basalt you can sort of feel the ancient sort of energy. Definitely Bombo here. Overseas, I loved every place that I've been to. So. And I think it's because I put a little piece of my heart into my work there and I leave a bit of myself there. I always say I want to go back to Antarctica. That's a definite, I want to do that. But Tibet and Everest and Namibia and places like that, I always say I want to go back to as well. But there's so much to explore. Whether I get to, I don't know. I haven't got one particular favorite place that had won my heart because it keeps expanding, it keeps growing. I keep finding something else.
Yeah. How balance in life? Do you aim for balance, or is it, you said photography is like breathing, or is it all photography and I just work over here to pay the bills? And how do you balance your life?
How do I balance my life? I am a dance teacher, choreographer, like I said before as well. So I've done that for quite a while, recently just left. I balance I think for me, life experiences are so important to go into art. If you don't have those life experiences, I don't have anything to say. And this is just, again, my view. I have to have life experiences. We have to put the camera down sometimes and go, see friends or go away with friends or go out to dinner. Like it doesn't consume my life. But this is a like breathing. It's a huge part of my life, but it's not the total part of my life. It's not my complete identity. It's something that I really relate to. So I find balance in all different ways.
Nice.
Pretty much from sport to reading to, my blogs, like art is a huge part of it. But if I don't have those life experiences, then I have nothing to create.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about a memorable experience? What is the one that sticks out to you that says, okay, well, this is what photography is about for me?
I think I had so many amazing experiences with certain photographers and other people. That plays a huge part of it. Trips with people that, I've been inspired by, or friends that I've gone away with my camera. Like I would say my relationships with people become before a big epic landscape, and always will. That's the kind of person that I am. So meeting different communities and things and different places are quite memorable to me. The Namibian people, especially, touching people wherever I go. For my photography, I take little koala bears and I sort of give them out to all the kids, and I've got some ready for my trip in a couple of days. And the reaction to that means a lot to me as well. So yes, I've been to some epic, amazing places, but it's the people that along the way that I've met, either there or people I've gone away with, have made it all really memorable to me.
Fantastic. What about negative experiences and horror stories? Have you had any like that?
Plenty as a woman, yes, definitely. We could do a whole podcast on that. But
I probably should one day.
You definitely should.
Maybe I'm not the right person to deal with.
So yeah, I've had lots of different scary experiences on my travel. Like obviously COVID was a bit of it happened and I had to sort of change my view and keep shooting. So being sick, you can get away with. For me, I will have, back in my 20s, I sort of traveled before, social media and all that kind of thing. I'm getting older. And I would shoot on film camera. I was shooting a place in Europe. I don't want to say what place, but I was attacked by 4 men.
No.
It was extremely frightening. Yeah, it was a very scary experience. Very scary experience. And I was very young at the time, but these things do happen. So safety as a woman when we're traveling and doing landscapes is really important for me as well, and the experiences that I've had. So that's been a horror story. And I've had a few sort of harassing type things being out shooting, which is not nice for a woman. And everything else is kind of dealable. You leave a lens behind or you lose a cut. Like everything is dealable. But I think for me as a woman, the horrifying stories have always been related to something like.
Yeah. Honestly, wish men weren't as bad as they are. And, you can say not all men for all you like, but I just feel the relationship that some people have with women is just absolutely insane. I'm surrounded by women. I've got 3 daughters and my wife in my life. And so for me, just blows my mind that people can actually be abusive to women. And there's so much joy and beauty that I get out of my family and seeing other people that, and I know how I'd feel if one of my girls was harassed or assaulted, and woe betide whoever did it.
Yeah, yes, it was a very frightening experience, and being so young, it made me very wary. Like I thought I was a very seasoned traveler at that point in my 20s anyway, but these things happen. You let your guard down, and yeah, from that point onwards, I've been very cautious when and I just urge all women to be cautious, still men too, because let's not. The world these days, the things that are going on, it can be men as well. So
that's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. How do you think landscape photography has shaped your relationship with the natural world?
Oh, that's a huge part of it again. I think it shapes. I just want to protect these places now more than ever. Again, with social media, I don't know, because I think you're from Sydney as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've heard that Blue Mountains, Lincoln Rock's been shut down, which is a beautiful.
Look, I was talking about it to somebody a couple of episodes ago, and it just astounds me that it doesn't astound me that people flock there because it's a beautiful place.
Exactly. But we're losing these places as photographers. We leave no trace. We go.
And it's photographers that are actually part of the problem, because we're saying, hey, here we are at Lincoln Rock and here's this beautiful vista.
That's where I've gone, especially the last part of last year. Unless it's like a real well-known place like Antarctica, and that it's in Antarctica, I have decided that I will not be posting.
It's much harder to get to too than Lincoln Rock.
That's right. Or it's very obvious, like it's deadly, or it's a very obvious spot. But everywhere else, I as you probably noticed, I don't post a lot of stories where I'm at anymore. And that's for a reason. I want to protect the places that I go to, even though I'm mindful. I don't leave trash and that kind of thing. Nor would I ever sell a location to somebody. I think we need to protect it, and sort of people need to do their own research and go, I really want to go to this place. And it's in their heart pool to go, rather than, oh, so-and-so is over here, I'm going to pay $15 to have a list of the places that they've gone to. Do research. Right. It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the research and the thinking about it and the anticipation before you go is, for me, certainly a big part of it.
And then you get different photos as well, like research where you want to go and not to take the same photos of other people. Like, I just feel I don't understand it. I'm so sorry. I just don't.
I'm not the right person to talk to about selfies in front of a view either, because I don't want to be on camera.
It's a thing like that. And that's what's hard too, because social media wants to force you to be like an influencer, content creator. Let's make reels. Stand here, put a book out. It's just, we are called and we're pushed by social media into being people that we aren't. And for me, it has been not hard to stay in who I am, but it's been oh, this person is now doing this and creating this and has now got heaps of followers and got all these opportunities. I just strip it back now and sort of say to myself, I'm true to who I am. And like we've connected people who are true, I will connect with. And then I'm not going to stand in bikini in Deadley and try and get people to look at my photography because my niche. That is not going to happen. So
Well, I'm certainly not going to appear in a bikini.
why not?
Even at home.
Yeah, it's just, it's interesting beast at the moment, isn't it?
I always ask where people see photography in society, and I'm interested. You've talked a little bit about the social media side of things, but beyond that, where do you see photography in society?
This is hard because photography itself is so broad. It is massively broad. There's so many different genres and offsets of what photography is. Like we're talking about today, my art, I'm very much an artist with that. I'm not a commercial photographer per se. I will work for commercial businesses and things if they want me to, but that's again different. If you're a commercial photographer, street photographer, you're a photojournalist, it is so broad. And that's what's beautiful about it. And that's what I love about it because we are all so different. What irritates me personally with social media is that everyone has something to bring to photography. Pretending to be somebody else or somebody you're not, you don't need to do that. I believe you need to do that. It's finding who you are and what you can bring into your art and what you love to do, whether it's shooting cars, whether it's landscapes like us, or whether it's astrophotography, there's so much you can choose from and bring into yours. Strip it back and sort of say, this is why I'm doing photography. You'll find the why rather than copying other people's stuff, and it's a bit of a mess. It is a beautiful, beautiful art form, and it's beautiful for people to do. And I love that so many people are doing it. It's finding the people who are genuine and authentic in who they are with it.
Yeah, doing it for the right reasons, doing it. And I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. If somebody wants to replace their skies, well, that's okay. But tell people, be honest about it, be transparent and say, hey, I replaced the sky. Or this is a composite, a time blend, or an exposure blend, or whatever, be honest about what it is that you're doing. It's one of the reasons why I took to pretty much every shot that I post on social media. I do the settings. And if this is a blend of 5 exposures, then I'm going to say a blend of 5 exposures, and I'll tell you the times and I'll tell you the settings that I'm using. One because largely stops questions like, what settings do you use? Which is a very common social media question that I used to get. You kind of tape it off. I still get them occasionally though, even though it's like, read the caption.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we have AI too.
Well, this is it. Yeah.
So we have that. We're up against AI and image scraping, and it's in society. Images are huge. Photography is a huge thing. It's just, and whether you're in it, when I say for the right reasons, I mean, are you in it to just be famous, or are you in it to,
why are you there?
Why are you there? As long as you're enjoying your reasons to be there, that's what I mean. Yeah,
I think that's fantastic. Let's drop back into photography itself and how you process your work. Are you straight into processing when you get back from a shoot? Do you take your time over it? Have you got a massive backlog? I've got a massive backlog, but I haven't even uploaded the shots from this morning, which is unusual for me. Normally that's the first thing I do when I walk in the door. I normally also will go through review and do a bit of an edit on a couple of them, pick a highlight because I know, that's a banger that I want to keep, want to take a look at. Are you straight into your editing? Do you take your time over it? How do you think about that side of things?
So when I'm out shooting, I'm already working on my series with him in my head, and I know where I'm going with it. When I come back, that is my first priority, is usually working on my series. So I shoot in all different ways. So I shoot in black and white on my series. That is what because that's probably the most important to me when I go shoot. This is when I'm working for my own art. I'm not working for somebody else who's hired me. But when I've that is my first priority, is my series. And then I'll go into, okay, well, what's next? Am I going to do a black and white series that's not related to my conceptual stuff? Am I going to put the color out and then work through that? I still have some photos from Antarctica. It was years ago now. So I go to pick my best ones out. I'll edit those. And then, okay, I'm usually off to another location, new series, go through which ones I want to choose and go again. Yeah.
And when you were editing those series, are you trying to get a consistent look and feel across all of the images in that set, or do you just let the images speak for themselves, and if the workflow desires something different for image 1 versus image 10 in the series? How do you think about your actual processing process, the workflow?
For the series work? For the series work, like I said, when I'm out shooting, I know a lot. It's one of those things, I know the images that I want to be in there. So I know that the exact position that I was, I know where I was at. I know that that's going to be, her breath Antarctica. So I know that that's going to be that one when I take it there. So when I'm out shooting, I know the series and the shots that I want in the series as soon as I come back. So that's first priority. I'll get those shots out and then work it into my series how I want it to be in the series. Occasionally when I go back and I'll edit some of the other black and white, I'll go, that actually could fit, and I'll move it across into my series. Other times I'll go, wait, that doesn't fit. I will take that one out. And it's been brutal in my series, because otherwise my series could be, 40 images, 50 images in one series, cull it down to sort of my top 20 and go.
Okay. I'm interested, do you always work in series, or do you have standalone images that just speak for themselves and you go, okay, well, that doesn't fit anything else I've done, but I really love it?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. So I don't know if you saw my galleries on my website, I have like the color versions and stuff, and they are the standalone. That's not series work. So I have my concepts, my series. Every time I go, I have one in mind. And then I'll work on color, black and white, whatever I feel when I'm there. And again, like my series may change. Like I have an idea with what I'm shooting and going for on, what day are we today? Tuesday, Thursday, what I want to do already. But when I get there, if it's not going to be what I think, or the weather's rubbish, I'm not going to be disappointed. I will change that up and I'll shoot something else. And for me, being flexible in photography is huge, and having that adaptability to be able to go, this series isn't going to work here. Sometimes I'll decide it when I get there. Other times I have, I really want to do this. This is going to, because it's a feeling that I've got to get it out.
Yeah.
But when I get there, it goes, boom, it's gone. It's not going to work. So I have to quickly change it up. That's my favorite part of my photography, is this series, but I do have the standalone shots too.
Yeah. I'd like to know more about your culling process, because deciding when you're creating a series or a body of work of any kind, whether it's to go into the portfolio at all, or whether it's to fit within a particular genre or series that relates to some concept.
Mm-hmm.
How are you thinking about that culling process, and what is it that you're looking for in each series that you go, okay, well, this is in, that's out? And you say, you go sort of, here's my top 40 for that, and then you're coming down to 20. How do you ditch the 20 no's?
The 20 no's, it's hard, but what boils down to me is the strongest pieces that represent what I'm trying to say, or that concept. If there's a bit of maybe, I don't know, does it fit, does it not? No, it's a no. The images that I think are, oh, wow, this is great, this is what I want to portray, will stay. And the ones that I go, maybe not, that's still a great photo on its own, could be great too. So I've had ones where I've gone, no, and I've ditched them, and then gone back sort of a year later and gone, wait, that is a really good shot. I'm going to edit that one back up because that can stand alone, definitely.
What about printing? Printing at all, or is it something you leave to somebody else? Do you print your work at all?
I don't print mine personally. I leave it to somebody else. And I don't print it a lot. For me, I spent this year mostly on my website and doing the galleries on my website. I wanted to be completely unique in terms of, I want people to go to my website and see it like they would see it in an art gallery.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I just wanted that. I wanted to steer more away from Instagram and social media and putting my work out there. So this series that I'm talking to you about, that won't come out for probably 6 months now. So I probably won't post about anything of like that anymore. And it's taken back my autonomy and sort of my own control over my images and again, respecting the places that I go to. I've decided to keep it off and only put it on my website. So people that are really genuine with my work will be going, what's Toni up to? Go to my website, because I don't want my work to be dissolvable. And I find that it is these days. When you put it on social media, I have some amazing followers who are really supportive, such as yourself and other people who want each other's and supporting. But a lot of the time you spent so much money, time and effort for a photo, you're getting up at 4 a.m. like you have done today. No one sees that.
Yeah. Well, nobody cares.
No, that's right.
Or nobody else cares.
Well, it's one of those things like you do care, but it's one of those things where there's too many ads and you can't see it. And it's just dissolves into nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, and then people, unless you go to somebody's page, and let's face it, we're so busy, it's very hard to go over and then go through everybody's thing. It's very hard to see.
Yeah.
And it's not that. For me, I want to support my friends in the photography world. But it's very hard to do that now with so much going on, isn't it? It's like
absolutely
ads and scrolling, but putting an image out it gets dissolvable. And I kind of want my work to be respected more. So I've moved more towards my website where I have control and it's here and staying here. If people want to see it, but if they want to experience the full series, it's here. Rather, I'm just going to feed it into Instagram where I don't work for Meta. I get nothing out of it. It's a bit pointless. Like, not pointless because it's showing people my work, but at the same time, yeah, it's dissolvable if I do.
Yeah, okay. I definitely get it. One of the things I do, at least on Instagram, I've got to say, Instagram causes me more frustration than any of the other platforms that I use.
Really?
And I've found, unfortunately, that's where you get maybe the most following, or have built up the most following over the years. But I get more interaction out of some of the other platforms, like Blue Sky, for example, which I've moved to from Twitter a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And from me, that interaction is really what I'm looking for. I actually mentioned in the last episode, I'm seriously thinking about creating a social media platform where there are no likes. Mm-hmm. The only thing you can do is comment.
Lovely. That'd be interesting.
You've actually got to spend some time, A, looking at the image, and B, commenting on the image if you want to react to it at all. So your reaction isn't scroll, tap, scroll, tap, scroll, tap. It's scroll, look, comment if you're going to interact. I don't know how it'll go, but I'm starting to become a little bit more serious about putting that. So trademark, copyright, Grant Swinburne Photography.
That's it. But yeah, why not? Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go. I have seen lately a lot of people come Instagram that are deactivating their accounts and drifting away, which is a bit sad for the photography community, I think.
I think similar things happened with 500 pixels and Flickr and whatever in the past. I mean, Flickr seems to be coming back to a certain degree for some photographers, but I guess there is a plethora of places you can go that I think give a better experience than Instagram. The problem is that the bulk of the people are still centered around there. And that's if the center of gravity is there, it's very difficult for anything else that orbits it not to get sucked into it.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. For me, social media has become secondary to my website. That's sort of where I'm at with that. That's who I am. That's where I'm at. And for me, I appreciate everyone that follows along and has stuck with me through the years. It is good to get your work out there, definitely. But it's harder and harder to see other artists work between everything else that's going on, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your favorite thing about being a photographer?
Oh, expressing myself, I think, is probably my favorite.
Nice.
And putting thoughts and feelings, expression.
What's your least favorite thing?
Least favorite. Okay. This one has been driving me nuts for the last 2 days. Carry on weight baggage allowance. because that's my least favorite. He was driving me insane right now. Again, trying to pack camera gear to take on carry on. Yeah.
Unless I'm with certain airlines who I won't name, I ignore those weight limits and just carry what I'm carrying. And, and if need be, hide my carry-on bag when I'm at check-in.
Big pockets. Yeah. I don't really have, like, apart this kind of a jokey thing, but it's true. It is irritating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Least favorite thing of photography. I don't have one. I honestly don't. Like, there's inconveniences and things when we're out shooting and, different things, but I love it. And it's a challenge. If I'm finding something difficult and I'm not liking it, it's usually something I'm doing wrong. Like I've got the wrong setting or I'm frustrated with myself. But I love it. It's sociable. It's meeting people. It's creative. It is artistic. And again, it's like whatever you want it to be. And that's the beauty of photography. It's so personal that everybody is so different. I love, like we're talking now, like to other photographers and why did you start it and how and the hows. And it's incredible because everybody is so different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what makes your podcast fascinating when you listen to them all or watch, like I said, I last night. Everyone is so different. And that's what's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons why I keep doing it is because every time I talk to somebody new, I'm learning something different, not just about photography itself, but about that person and getting a connection with that person and understanding them a little bit better, which is really the whole aim of the podcast is for me to get that understanding of why people do what they do and what's their thought process behind it. And for me, that I just find fascinating. Whether or not anyone else does, so be it,
I'm sure they do. You've got your listeners and watchers, which is fantastic. I'm sure they do. So
I certainly hope so. If you are enjoying it, please comment, subscribe, etc. Share it with other people. Tell them about how good it is.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. Well, we better think about wrapping up. Who else should I be talking to, Toni? Who else is out there that I don't know about?
That you don't know about. Okay. So that's some of the photographers that have touched me along the way. You've interviewed a couple already. Just a bit of a hint for some of those. Hello to them. I would say another huge person that was influential in my photography, Alfonso Calero.
Okay.
He's a Sydney-based. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I have heard of him, but
Yeah.
I haven't put him on my list yet. I probably should have a while back, but I do have a very long list already.
Yeah, I bet you do. So he's been wonderful with my art. He was one of the only photographers actually that I picked up straight away that I was intuitive and really sort of helped me up because I'm not a gearhead. So I'm not one of those people who is into gear and things like that. But he's multi-award winning. He's a fantastic sensei mentor type person in my life. I would definitely, if you can, interview him at some point. The beautiful Sarah Lisa I went to Namibia with, her work isn't so much online, but her work is absolutely gorgeous. There's just so many people. Noel Watson, who's another Australian. Did you know Noel? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know him personally, but I've seen his work around and followed him for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's beautiful Edith, who's ANZ Arizona Honeybee. I think she's astrography with landscape, which is her work is absolutely.
I haven't come across her work yet.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, her work is absolutely gorgeous.
Definitely.
There's just so many people. Pretty much anyone I follow, but pick up.
Well, thank you for those. It's always great to add to the list and get new people on the show.
You're very welcome.
My last question, you probably already know what I'm going to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple on pizza. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Excellent. Thank you for spending some time with us, Toni. It's been wonderful hearing from you and learning a lot more about you. And I've certainly learnt a lot. Where can people find your work?
They can find me on my website, AntoinetteKouts.com. They can also check me out on Instagram, which is at Toni_Kouts. So it's Kouts.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Toni.
Thank you so much, Grant, for having me on. It's been amazing chatting to you finally after all these years and learning a lot from you as well. So thank you for the friendship.
Thanks. Have you ever struggled with your photography and wanted to understand why you do things? Leave a comment below. I'm really interested to hear what you've got to say. Thanks again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show. Keep listening because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work in this podcast at grantswinburnphotography.com. I'm also on Vero, Photo, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can find, pardon me, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, because it really helps the podcast to be seen and heard. I'm Grant Swinburne. Hope to see you out shooting soon.